Welcome to the final score. My name is Jaylen Brinson, and welcome to season 5 of the final score. If you want to tune into the other 4 seasons of the final score, WODU live on YouTube and search the final score, and you can see a couple of shows that me and my co-host Ray Hargrave had while we were in college. But like I said, welcome to season 5, episode 1 of the final score. And basically it's going to be a recap of the NBA draft and my opinions on where everyone went. If you haven't seen the final score before, I start off with starter topics, which pretty much is the most headlining sports news of the week. So the first topic is DeAndre Ayton went number 1 to the Phoenix Suns. I feel like that was a great pick for them. At the end of the day, it really came down to, in my opinion, Luka Doncic or DeAndre Ayton. But the Phoenix Suns chose who I believe was the best choice for them. They needed a big man. They got some nice young guards that they can work around with Devin Booker. And Josh Jackson is like a combo forward guard. So, you know, they're pretty much good on the wing and the outside, but they needed that centerpiece big man that they haven't had in a long time since what I can remember, probably Amari Stoudemire was the next best postman in a long time for the Phoenix Suns. So getting DeAndre Ayton really helps balance out that core and young core. And Chauncey Billups compared DeAndre Ayton to Joel Embiid, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later on what Joel Embiid felt like, his opinion on what Chauncey Billups said. But overall, I don't know if DeAndre Ayton's the best player in the draft in my opinion, but he was the best choice for number 1 pick, the Phoenix Suns. In his rookie year, I feel like he's going to do pretty good in that system. Second pick of the draft was Marvin Bagley III, and I don't know. The thing about Sacramento is once players go to Sacramento, that's where careers go to die. But I feel like Marvin Bagley has a different work ethic. I feel like he's going to put in that work. And, you know, the difference is a lot of people that go to Sacramento, if you don't want to be in Sacramento, your drive is kind of lax, and then your production doesn't add up or increase over time. But I feel like Marvin Bagley, he said after he was drafted that he's ready to go to Sacramento. He was willing to work out with them before pre-draft. So I feel like, you know, it could be a nice fit. I feel like he could be a great piece for the Sacramento Kings, working with De'Aaron Fox, the other rookie guard that they drafted last year. They still need more. I don't know if they're a playoff team yet, but drafting Marvin Bagley was a great pick for them. Now, the 3rd and the 5th pick, there was a trade between the Dallas Mavericks and the Atlanta Hawks. So basically, the Atlanta Hawks picked Trae Young at 3, and I feel like Trae Young going to the Atlanta Hawks, Quavo got what he wanted, and I got what he wanted. I feel like Trae Young could thrive in Atlanta. They might have to ship away Dennis Schroeder, but Trae Young has potential. I'll get into how much potential later in the show. But Luka Doncic was eventually drafted basically by the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like it's a good fit for him because he wanted to be in a big city. And ownership, Mark Cuban, you know, he loves to keep his players happy. And team up with Dennis Smith in the backcourt, I feel like, you know, it's a great young backcourt you could build around. You know, they had some bigs they could have picked. They could have drafted Mo Bamba at 5. But, you know, I guess they just couldn't sleep on Luka Doncic. And a lot of people compare him to Dirk Nowitzki for that, you know, next foreign prodigy and going to Dallas, and it's hard not to compare. So Dirk Nowitzki could probably bring him under his wing, mentor him for as long as Dirk Nowitzki still plays. And I feel like Luka's going to be pretty good. I haven't seen a lot of tape on him from when he was on Real Madrid. So, but I heard he's the next best thing. They compare him to Manu Ginobili, like a 6'8" Manu. So I mean, probably with better passing vision. They say he's the best passer in the draft. So if he could put it all together, he could be the next great European player to come into the NBA. He looks like a pretty good kid. I mentioned Mo Bamba was drafted by the Orlando Magic, and I feel like that was a steal in my opinion because Mo Bamba probably could have been drafted. You can arguably be better than DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley based off potential because with his 8-foot wingspan, he can pretty much block anything at 7'1", and who knows, he can grow even taller. So he's gonna have the longest standing reach in the NBA already coming out of college. So the Magic got something in Mo Bamba. Hopefully he can develop his offensive game, but if he can, he's gonna be a scary sight. Scary sight. Now, the Bulls passed up on Colin Sexton, and a lot of Bulls fans will discuss it at how they picked Wendell Carter Jr., but I can see what they're trying to do. They might be trying to build around Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine in the backcourt, and then team up Laurie, and if Wendell Carter can, develop into the player that he could potentially be. I feel like he was under the wing of Marvin Bagley at Duke, so obviously he wasn't getting all the attention there at Duke, and a lot of fans, if the player's not getting the attention, they feel like they weren't worth the pick. But I feel like he can develop into a great player, post big. He's an old-fashioned big, but he does have a three-point jumper. He just didn't shoot that many of them in college, but when he did, they went down. But with him and Laurie in the front court for the Chicago Bulls, I see what they're doing there, but it's just, can Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn develop into something? So with the next pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers pick Colin Sexton. In my opinion, he probably is the better point guard over Trae Young as far as explosion and basically just the build and the length as a explosive guard. Now Trae Young is a shooter, but Colin Sexton is a slasher. And basically after he got drafted, he was trying to recruit LeBron back to the land. But I don't know if that's enough for LeBron to come back to Cleveland. But Colin Sexton will be wearing number 2, so he's going to get a lot of Kyrie Irving comparisons. But Colin Sexton is a bulldog. That's why I call him Young Bull. And I feel like he's going to show out in Cleveland. No doubt about that. And there was 2 surprising things in the draft. But the first thing is Michael Porter Jr. sliding to 14. I thought when he fell to 10 at Philly was going to take him, and that was going to be a problem because there was talks that Philly was willing to trade Markelle Fultz to a team to trade up to get Michael Porter Jr., but I guess, his back, a lot of worries about his back in the NBA. A lot of teams just kept passing on him, and he was the last pick in the lottery at the Denver Nuggets. And the Denver Nuggets know what they willing to risk on him. I heard it's even considered that he might sit out another season just to, rehab on his back. But if he does play and he does develop into the player, I believe number 1 or 2 prospect coming out of high school is going to definitely be a steal for the Denver Nuggets. And when he got drafted, I was like, okay, they might get a next Carmelo Anthony out of Michael Porter Jr. Probably even better with his almost 7-foot size and his ability to shoot the ball and handle the rock. That's a big. So LiAngelo Ball did not get drafted in this year's draft, and he does not anticipate getting an invite to the Lakers Summer League team. And I'm not really surprised because I don't really think he's that good of a player. He just has the last name, and people just think just because he's a ball, he's just going to get handed a job in the NBA, but I don't think that's true. I think he messed up when he stole from China when he was in college. I feel like UCLA would have really helped his game. Playing with his brother in Lithuania against kids his brother's age isn't really enough footage to see if he's ready for the NBA. I don't know, he might get signed before the season starts, maybe on a D-League team or a G-League team, something like that, but to think he was going to get drafted, I think it was crazy because I don't think he really had enough tape to get just straight drafted into the NBA. So another surprising thing in the NBA draft was the Mavs drafted Giannis's brother Kostas Antetokounmpo with the Mr. Irrelevant pick in the NBA, which was the last pick of the draft. This could definitely be a steal. I just thought he was going to get drafted higher just because of just the slim chance he can become something like the Greek Freak and Giannis. But the Mavs got Luka, Dennis, and Kostas. If Kostas can go anything like Giannis, definitely the biggest steal in the draft. And Isaiah Thomas said, former Mr. Irrelevant pick in the NBA, whoever the last pick is in this draft, just hit me up and I'm going to tell you the formula. Kostas actually hit him up. But in my opinion, he don't even have to hit Isaiah Thomas. So all you got to do is keep working out with his brother. And who knows, he could be the Greek Freak 2.0. The next topic is up for debate. Basically, it's where LeBron James was signed in this offseason. Leave your comments below where you think LeBron James might go. But in my opinion, Houston is the best team for him to go to for at least this season. Specifically, if he really wants to knock off, and his plan is to knock off the Golden State Warriors. They came the closest out of anyone all season. If you want to get him out the way and then maybe face the East in the finals, you might get a couple more rings in that way. But if you really ring chasing, come on over to Golden State Warriors, and that's my favorite team. Come on over to Golden State, and definitely you can be a definite ring chaser there. But you're gonna face a lot of backlash, even more than KD did. As far as like a business or a family thing, he might as well just go out to LA, play for the Lakers. Probably won't win any rings for the rest of his career, but his son going out there for high school, and he has a couple houses out there, and definitely business opportunities out in LA. So I mean, he can help develop the young guns. They might be able to make a run at some point in their careers, but LA is an option too. Boston and Philly in the East are the options I believe are there because of how loaded they are and young they are. I still wouldn't I wouldn't just say if Boston or the Sixers get LeBron that they'll be able to beat Golden State. But hey, LeBron can see and find out. He's known for those 1-year deals, getting large contracts for 1 year. So he could just go to one team, see what he likes, and then he can just move on. Like he said, he has nothing else to play for. He's one of the best players of all time. So he already has championships. So it's not really that big of a pressure choice, in my opinion, for him. Where Kawhi might go, or will he stay in San Antonio? I don't believe he wants to stay in San Antonio. He's already telling teams that he might head to LA, no matter what happens this year, next year. So I believe the San Antonio Spurs might as well get something out of trading Kawhi to the Lakers, because if they just let him walk and get nothing for next year, then I feel like that's just ignorance by the San Antonio organization. They saying they don't want to trade him to a Western Conference team. It's kind of like childish, because if he walks next year, you're not going to get anything. So I don't really see the logic in that. So I don't know where Kawhi might end up this offseason, whether he'll be in San Antonio or not, but I believe him when he says he's going to LA next year. And so DeAndre Ayton, Marvin Bagley III, and Michael Porter Jr. all signed with Puma Basketball. And a lot of people might be like, why would he sign with them, not Nike or Under Armour or a big name like Adidas, brands like that. And DeAndre Ayton said, when it comes down to it, it's all about money and business. Yeah, you like wearing Nikes and J's and those shoes for basketball, but I mean, you sign with an unknown basketball company, and basically have the chance to become the face of the company. If you're the face of anything, you won't get more money than just signing with basically every other shoe brand that people sign with. So I feel like it's a good, with Jay-Z being the Puma basketball president, it was a good investment that these young boys, they probably talked to their agents and Jay-Z, of course, and their parents, and feel like that was the best chance for them to make money outside of basketball. Next topic, what do I believe Luka Doncic's ceiling is? Like I said, I could see him being the next Manu Ginobili, but not like a six-man role. I feel like he could be a great point guard in the league, um, or off-ball guard, combo guard, whatever you want to call it. His potential is there. I feel like if he went to the right place, that really determined whether how good Luka Doncic was gonna be. And him going to Dallas with Mark Cuban and Dirk, I feel like that's a great situation for him to be in. So his ceiling is pretty high in my opinion. For Trae Young, I talked about his development and who he can become. He was compared to Steph Curry, and I see a lot of Steph Curry in his game. He has deep range, 30 feet or further. He has great passing ability. He's crafty with the ball. Same pretty much stature and body type. So yeah, he could become the next Steph Curry. But you know, Steph Curry loves to put that work in. Trae Young gonna have to put that work in if he wants to be the next Steph Curry, or he could just be the next Trae Young. But you know, you can't deny and you can't not see a little bit of Steph Curry in Trae Young's game. So again, if you're new to my show and new to the Final Score, we do this little thing. Me and Trey used to do this little thing called the Out of Pocket segment. So if any professional athlete or coach or anyone in a sports professional organization or college kind of was on some wild stuff this past week, I'm going to catch you. So the first thing is Michael Porter Jr. coming off back injury. He compared himself. He said he's a little mix between Giannis and KD. I believe he's trying to say he's like that now, and that's definitely out of pocket. Especially coming off of 3 games in college, and you didn't look too well in those games, and you slid into 14th in the draft. I feel like he should just keep his mouth shut and just let his play do the talking. I can see where you think you might become a mixture of Giannis and KD, but I feel like that's pretty much too much of a bold statement to make pre-draft. The next, all I gotta say is the Cavs in the finals. That's just a big out of pocket altogether. Yeah, that was just a fail in the finals. Golden State just swept them, and they might lose their best player, the best player in the world, because of it. So, the whole Cleveland Cavaliers organization in that finals was out of pocket. And lastly was the 76ers trading the hometown boy Mikal Bridges to the Phoenix Suns after his mother was happy and she works for the organization. I feel like that was a good pick. Like I said, I would have picked Michael Porter Jr. in that spot just off potential. But, you know, Mikal Bridges did things at Villanova. He won 2 championships, so I'm surprised they traded him for Kyrie Smith out of Texas Tech. I didn't really see play that much. But I think they got future draft picks, and it's word that the NBA is going to allow high schoolers to come straight to the NBA soon. I believe in the 2021 draft, so they're just looking into the future and maybe be able to sign a max player to a big-time contract in the future. But Mikal Bridges, you know, I'm not really into the Sixers organization. I don't really know what they're thinking. But, man, that's kind of messed up. So, Philly, you out of pocket for trading the hometown Philly kid to Phoenix. If I was his mother, I'd go out and get a job in Phoenix because that's kind of messed up. The last thing I'm going to say is Chauncey Billups compared DeAndre Ayton to Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid said, "Don't compare me to that Ayton kid because I play defense." Well, Ayton blocked, I believe, 2 shots per game at Arizona, and he had some pretty good flashes of defense too, better than Marvin Bagley. So Joel Embiid should be focused on, you know, beating the Boston Celtics. You know, he pretty much looks like he's a senior. You know, when seniors pick on freshmen, that's pretty much what he did. Like, why are you talking about this prospect? Why don't you work on your game and be able to beat Boston in the playoffs? Because that's going to be your most definite rival in your career, especially on the Philadelphia 76ers. Again, my name is Jaylen Brinson. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments below on any sports topics you'd like to hear from me, or just commenting on what I've talked about in Season 5 premiere. Again, my name is Jaylen Brinson, and that is the Final Score. I'll be ballin'.
like a motherfucking pro. Like a motherfucking pro. I be ballin' like my nigga Mo.